When I was asked to share my thoughts on the best advice that I had ever heard, I spoke to friends, colleagues, even strangers to try to get some ideas from them. And one thing that kept coming up was the book or the poem by Robert Fulghum, All I Ever Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. Presented a problem for me, because I have a confession to make. I'm a kindergarten dropout. It's true. My family moved a few months before the end of the school year, and I dropped out and never looked back. Until, of course, everybody started talking about this book, and I thought, darn, who knew? Maybe there was a price to be paid. Those last couple months might have been very impactful. But then again, I've noticed something in my life, and maybe you've noticed it too. The most profound lessons, very much like the deepest friendships, seem to happen without provocation or planning, almost as if it's just an eventual awakening or recognition that something very meaningful has happened quite naturally. So the more I thought about the best advice that I had ever received, I realized that about 15 years ago, I recognized that there had been some advice I received as a young child that really was like a continuous thread that had been woven throughout my life. It was, without a doubt, the best personal advice that I had ever received. I now realize that it's also the advice that I hold most dear in my business life. Let me explain. As far back as I can remember, sports has been a really big part of my family's life. I'm one of 8 children born in a span of just 10 years. We were 6 girls and 2 boys. We had our own version of run the bases where my dad was always the one at bat, and we would take turns running for him. He liked baseball, but he loved football. And not just any football. He loved Notre Dame football. If you were at home on a Saturday afternoon, you were in front of the television watching Notre Dame football and celebrating to the Notre Dame fight song at every opportunity. Back then, Notre Dame won 85% of their games when Ara Parsegian was coaching, so we did a lot of singing and a lot of dancing. My dad used to say, if you live your life with the kind of passion that you see on the Notre Dame football field on Saturday, you will have a happy life. Years later, Dad shared with me that he grew up during the Newt Rockne, Frank Leahy eras. They were the 2 winningest football coaches in the history of college football. He also shared with me that my grandpa, his dad, had taught him the same lesson, and his dad had learned it from his father. So it's funny, none of us had ever attended the University of Notre Dame, and yet, along with my siblings, I'm in the 4th generation that's being raised on this Notre Dame football philosophy of life. So there must be something to it, right? The football program has a magical, legendary quality about it, certainly for their winning ways, for their 9 national championships, for the fact that over 98% of the football players graduate in 4 years. That's a high mark within the country and something to be very proud of. But I believe the reason why this mystique exists in my family and why it has been passed on through the years is that it teaches us a passion and commitment to some principles that allow us to have that sustainable, happy life. And they would be leadership, integrity, fun, and excellence. 14 years ago, in October of 2000, I learned another very valuable component of this theory. My father had just learned that he had precious little time left. He was staying with me, and I drove him home to get his mail. I wish you could have seen the reverence as we were standing in his living room. I wish you could have seen the reverence with which he held one particular envelope. He was swirling his fingers over a raised gold football helmet in the upper left-hand corner. He actually had to sit down to take it all in, and as he began to read, tears started to flow down his cheeks. This letter was from Notre Dame football coach Bob Davie, who wrote, "Dear Mike, we here at Notre Dame understand you're not doing well. We wanted to let you know we're praying for you, and we wish you all the best." It took Coach Davie minutes to write that note. A gesture of kindness and service to others that it was just such a priceless gift to my dad, and it had such a profound effect on everyone in my family. I feel quite certain that my children, their cousins, and their children's children will be telling that story for many years to come as they teach a passion and commitment to leadership, integrity, fun, excellence, kindness, and service to others. If you live your life with the kind of passion that you see on the Notre Dame football field on a Saturday afternoon, you will have a happy life. I run my business with these same principles. I was holding a leadership workshop with a client over in Hawaii, and I was introducing a movie clip on leadership. It was featuring Notre Dame coach Lou Holtz. And all of a sudden, the doctor jumped up and he said, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You brought Lou Holtz into my house?" I had no idea that he was a graduate of the University of Southern California, Notre Dame's arch rival, right? Well, we had such a laugh over this clip, and actually he loved it. But he did get the last laugh, because the next day he came in with a gift for me of 10 pounds of Kona coffee that he had put into a USC Trojan carry-on bag. And he said, "I love knowing that you are going to have to travel from Hawaii to Philadelphia representing USC. So wasn't that wonderful? So this is all caught up in Notre Dame for me and my family, but feel free to substitute your favorite football team and your favorite fight song. Right? If you live your life with the kind of passion that you see on the Notre Dame football field on a Saturday afternoon, you will have a happy life. I've adapted this in my business into a challenge to myself and to my clients to be the Joneses and lead on purpose. See, yes, this is my family's rallying cry. It is our common thread. For me, it's both the best personal and business advice I've ever received, because for me, business is personal. I truly believe that who we are speaks volumes to how we conduct ourselves and how we can make a difference for others. And after all, isn't that what we're all ultimately trying to do? Thank you.